Imagine you are standing on a sturdy bridge. It connects you to someone you love. The bridge is well built. It is safe. It is strong. But in your mind, in the world of your past, you have only known bridges that collapse. So you cannot trust the stillness beneath your feet. You begin to test it. You jump up and down. You shake the rails. You create a tremor. You are not trying to destroy the bridge. You are desperately and terrifiedly trying to prove to yourself that it is strong enough to hold your weight. This is the hidden, painful, and deeply misunderstood story of why you test people. It's the small, unnecessary fight you pick over nothing. It's the period of cold, silent withdrawal to see if they will come after you. It's the moment you say, maybe we should just break up, when what your heart is screaming is, please, please, tell me you will never leave me. It is a pattern of relational self-sabotage that can leave you feeling confused, toxic, and full of shame. You see yourself pushing away the very love you so desperately crave, and you ask yourself, why do I do this? Why can't I just accept that I am loved? If this is your story, you need to understand that this is not a game you are playing. This is not a sign of your malice or your desire for drama. This is a deeply ingrained survival strategy, learned by a part of you that does not yet know that the war is over. You are not testing their love for you in the present. You are testing a terrifying question from your past. Is this love, like all the others, going to disappear? This pattern is almost always born in the cradle of your first relationships. It is a feature of what psychologists call an anxious attachment style. And it is forged in a childhood where love and safety were inconsistent. Imagine your caregiver was like a flickering candle. Sometimes, the flame was bright and warm and present. You felt safe and loved. But other times, for reasons you could not understand, the flame would dim or go out completely. They would become distant, overwhelmed, angry, or neglectful. And you, a small child, were left in a cold, terrifying darkness. So you learned a powerful lesson. You learned that love is not a stable, constant sun. It is a fragile, flickering flame that could be extinguished at any moment. And you learned that to get the flame back, you had to do something. You had to cry louder. You had to protest. You had to perform. You learned that connection was something you had to fight for, to earn, to desperately coax back into existence. You did not get to internalize the feeling of a love that is permanent and steady. You internalized the frantic, anxious work of constantly protecting a flickering flame. So you arrive in adulthood, and even when you are standing in the bright, steady light of a healthy love, the anxious child inside of you is still terrified of the dark. They are still waiting for the flame to flicker. And so, they begin to test it. They create a small, controlled wind, just to see if the flame will go out. Let's look at the tools in this testing toolkit. One is the protest behavior, which often looks like picking a fight. You get angry or upset over a small, fixable issue. The conscious mind believes it is about the dishes or the late text message. But the subconscious, the scared child, has a different agenda. It is not trying to win the fight. It is trying to see if the other person will engage in the fight. Will they lean in? Will they try to understand? Will they fight for the connection? Or will they, as you secretly fear, abandon you at the first sign of conflict? The fight is a desperate and misguided plea for reassurance. Another common tool is withdrawal. You go cold. You become distant. You stop replying to messages for a few hours. This is the silent test. And the question it is asking is this: will you notice that I am gone? Do I matter enough for you to come and find me? This is a direct reenactment of the child who learned that they had to become very quiet or very still to get a caregiver's attention. You are testing to see if they will leave you in the darkness or if they will come looking for you with a light. And perhaps the most high-stakes test of all is the doomsday scenario. This is the moment you threaten the end of the relationship. You say, I don't think this is working out, or maybe we should just be friends. You are not saying this because you want it to be true. You are saying it because you are so terrified of it being true, you need to hear them fight against it with all their might. You are pushing the big red button of abandonment, hoping, praying, that it will trigger their deepest sense of commitment. You are hoping to hear the only words that can calm the terrified child inside. No, I am not going anywhere. But this is a dangerous game, because you are reenacting your past trauma in your present relationship. And a healthy, stable partner, who is not used to the language of a flickering flame, may become exhausted by the tests. They may, in their own confusion and hurt, eventually do the very thing you were most afraid of. They may leave, confirming the old, painful belief that you were right all along. So how do we begin to step off the bridge? How do we learn to trust the ground beneath our feet? It is the journey of learning to give yourself the reassurance you are so desperately seeking from others. The first step is to name the strategy when it arises. The moment you feel that familiar, hot urge to pick a fight or to go cold, pause and name what is happening. This is not about the dishes. This is my attachment anxiety. This is the part of me that is terrified of being abandoned, and it is about to start a test. This simple act of naming it creates a space. It brings the unconscious pattern into the conscious light. The second step is to get curious about the underlying need. Beneath every test, there is a legitimate and beautiful need. The need to feel safe. The need to feel important. The need to feel seen. The need for reassurance. Your need is not the problem. Your strategy for getting the need met is what is causing the pain. And this leads to the third and most courageous step. Practice direct, vulnerable communication. This is the new strategy. Instead of picking a fight about the dishes, you can learn to say, I am feeling a little distant from you today, and it's making me feel insecure. I could really use a hug and to know that we are okay. This will feel terrifying. It is the opposite of testing. It is showing your soft underbelly instead of your protective spikes. But it is the only path to a truly secure and intimate connection. And finally, you must become your own safe harbor. You must learn to self-soothe the terrified child within. When the anxiety of disconnection hits, instead of immediately looking to your partner to fix it, place a hand on your own heart. Breathe, and speak to that part of you. I know you are scared. It feels like the flame is going out. But I am here. I am the steady one. I will not abandon you. You are becoming the consistent, loving caregiver that you never had. You test people not because you want them to leave, but because you are so terrified that they will. Your behavior is a misguided love letter, written by a scared and younger part of you. The journey of healing is about learning to write a new one. A letter that does not come from a place of fear, but from a place of courageous vulnerability. A letter that doesn't test the bridge, but that trusts it enough to simply and peacefully walk across. If this video was helpful for you, please show your support by clicking the like button. To continue this journey of healing, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And if you know someone who is caught in this painful cycle, please share this video. It might be the moment of self-compassion that helps them finally feel safe in their love. Thank you for watching. You are worthy of a love that doesn't need to be tested.